Hello everyone, I'm Mahathir F Nabil from CSE 9 batch, and today I have recorded this meeting because we have recently done a project on a database, right? On a database system from our subject from our course, database management system. So we were given instructions to create a simple database management system on any topic, by our lecturer, Dr. Fernaz Narin Nur, and we have tried to in groups we have tried to each make our own database management systems project. So our project was on library management system, right? And I did my project with my partner, who is Faria Afroz Muskan. She is also from CSE 9 batch. And let's get started with our presentation, with our project details, like how we did what, right? And this is my first recording, which is going to be on social media, on Facebook, and I'm sorry if my presentation skills are not as up to mark, right? So please pardon me for that, and please excuse my mistakes. Thank you very much. Let's get started. So, as I said, our project topic, we decided to do it on a simple library management system, right? And we did it in harmony with and the teammates are basically me and Faria Afroz Muskan. So thank you, and let's proceed. What we tried to do with our library management system, we tried to divide it in parts, right? First, and we'll explain every single part that we did. We did a very simple project, and we only did it with HTML and PHP. It was maybe to very advanced programmers, or maybe even to programmers. This is going to be really like the ABC, right? But for me, for my partner, we are just beginners, and we just learned about database in this semester. Right? We are on our 7th semester now, and please excuse us for our mistakes. Maybe we understood some things maybe wrong. Please do comment if there was something wrong with our syntaxes or with our coding, right? Or maybe in our understanding of the coding. It may have been false, or it may have been correct too. So do excuse us, because this is our first first database project. So how did we divide our project into? We will also discuss about that. And let's get started with our presentation. We started with what is our project all about, right? And then moving on to the main goal that we tried to overcome in this project, right? And then we also have the ER diagram, meaning the entity and relationship diagram of our system, of our database system, of our database. And then moving on to how that ER diagram is converted into a relational schema, forwarded to the database that we used in the localhost server. We also have we'll also try to explain what are HTML and PHP. I mean, we didn't know. I mean, we learned about HTML in like HSC, right, in HSC when we did ICT, but we didn't quite know what was PHP, right? And since I passed my intermediate exams quite 2.5 years back, right? Yeah, it's quite 2.5 years back. And so we also forgot how the HTML syntaxes were. So we started from the scratch. We started from the scratch, and we tried to learn the very little things, from the basic, from the quite the basic, and we. We are not going to say that we learned everything. We learned very little, but whatever we learned it good, and we can explain. But maybe in our explanation, maybe we understood some things probably wrong. Maybe you can just comment and tell us what was wrong about it. But we tried to. We made an attempt, and we tried. And this video is actually not for the programmers or like for our seniors. It is only for maybe even our juniors, or even our batchmates like of intermediate are already know these. But it is just a help, or it's not even a help. It's just sharing our opinion about these languages, about our project, what we did. We're just trying to express what we did and how we did. Right, so take it in good intentions, take it in good terms, and also another thing is that in this recording, I will be here, not my teammate, because due to some problems, but I'll try to explain everything that we tried to do, everything we tried to overcome. So thank you, and after that, we have a few PHP syntaxes, right? We have a few HTML syntaxes that we used, and we are going to also explain that what those mean. Then the main part comes where we have the explanation of the course. Then the reference, like the site where we took help from. So we're not saying that we did this completely by ourselves, because this is our first database project, and we didn't maybe due to and you know that this time, due to coronavirus, the university was closed for like a month or so, and after that they decided to do online class. So due to that, the semester this time is only about like 3 months, not even 3 months, and due to that, our lecturer couldn't explain completely about the languages, or that is consisting of PHP, HTML, right? And due to that, we had to find it ourselves. She did explain. I'm not going to say that she didn't explain. She of course explained. She gave us the basics. She tried to introduce us to PHP and HTML. And from that idea, we also tried to research more. We tried to expand our knowledge, right? And from that, and we are very much thankful to our lecturer, to Miss Fernaz Narin Nur, and we are grateful to her. And we try to expand our knowledge to not a very high extent, but to a little extent. But we try to also understand what was going on. We didn't use any kind of designing in our site, right? In our site, we didn't which contains like a JavaScript or CSS. These designing languages, we didn't use that because since I said that this is new for us, right? The PHP is kind of new. HTML, it can be considered as also new for us. So we try to learn 2 languages, or the basic of 2 languages at a time, not moving on to JavaScript or CSS. So since this is our new, this is the beginning. So we try to just we tried to research in the browser, and then we found a website where there were 5 codes, right? I will also show what the 5 codes were. I will show everything. I'll not hide anything. So from there, And from there, we copied those codes, right? We copied those codes, maybe made some modifications to them according to our database in the local host, and then we tried to see we tried to also research that what was going on in there, what are those syntaxes, what do they mean, right? Research all of that, and then made about like 17 or 18 PHP files according to our system that we have tried to establish, right? And due to that, we had to copy it from there, those 5 codes, those 5 basic codes, because we don't know how to write it, right? We don't know how to write those, or basically understand what do they mean, or like how to start, right? We don't know that. So we tried to choose a basic point from the browser. We took it from a site, and then we tried to expand it. We're trying to expand according to our system. So let's get started. So what is our project all about? First of all, this system that we try to establish, that is library management system, right? From the name, we can understand that that it is a management of the elements that are related to library, right? This is the 21st century, right? So this century is all about technology. In the previous centuries, or even like 20 years back, let's say, then we always tried to record our information in certain books, right, or in certain notebooks. We tried to write it manually by hand. But since this is the 21st century, this is all about technology. Technology has gone to unimaginable bounds, and due to that, we also have to upgrade our system of entering things, or entering informations about a system, about a place, into a medium, right? And that medium has changed too, right? Before it was writing medium, manual writing medium, and now it is like a technological medium. So why we use, first of all, database, right? We could have also used Word files or Excel files, right, to make this entire system, right? We could have just made a bunch of files and then like put it into another folder, and then that would be our management system. But why didn't we do that? Because imagine in a library system, there are book section, there are probably some user section, like where all the information about a newly admitted user into the library, right? All of that information is in the user section, in the librarian section, probably to manage books, or to or about the librarians, right? So all of those informations are we have to put it into a file system, right? In file system, what would be the disadvantage? Suppose about book information, we are opening up a file and saving those information in that file, and then if we want to update, or if we want to insert another librarian information, we are going to the librarian file, librarian Word file. Or if we are trying to insert or entry a user information, we are going to the user Word file. So suppose a user needs to borrow a book from the book section, so we are making a borrow file. We're making a manage section for the librarian, where the librarian is adding a book to the book list, so we are making another file for the managed manage section, right? So all of these different, suppose 5 files, right? If we want to suppose delete a book name from the borrow section where we actually issued a book to the user, we need to go there, right? We need to go there, right, in the borrow section. And then if we want to suppose delete a certain user from the database, sorry, not from the database, I'm extremely sorry for that, from the file system. So we are going to the user file. But since that user took a book from the library and his name is embedded, or his or her name is embedded in the borrow section, we also have to delete it from the borrow section as well as the user section or the user file, right? So we have to do it differently. Or if we want to update something, we have to go to separate files and then update it manually, right? So file system has a great disadvantage here, that we have to do things separately. Whereas in database, you can make the tables for the sections, each section, and then we can, if we want, we can use primary keys, foreign keys. What these do is that they allow you to connect the tables, right? So if you want to update a user that it will be updated easily. If you want to borrow a book by that username, if you can borrow it only if the username is present in the library, right? Or you can issue the book to the user even if only the user is present in the library, otherwise not, right? So think it practically, that there aren't a username ABC in the library. So how can you issue a book to him, right, or her? Or if you want to suppose manage a book by the librarian name 102, maybe that librarian is not present, that librarian ID is not present in the that librarian name is not present in the database, right? How can you update, how can you manage a book by a librarian who is not present in the database, right? So all of these are managed. All of these are done very nicely in a database system. So coming back to our project, which is our library management system, here what we try to do is that by our lecturer, we were told that not to make any kind of ternary or quaternary or any higher degree of relationships between the entities. So meaning that we didn't need to make any kind of login panel or suppose registration panel. So there are no login panel or registration panel here, or any kind of higher degree of relationship except the binary relationship, meaning that only two entity sets are connected by a relationship. So there are no and not any kind of login panel. So due to that, since there are not any kind of login panel, we cannot give this link to the user, right? This is only system is only the basics. We can go much further with this. We can create login panels, we can add design, we can do so many things, but this is just the basic. This is just the basic, and this will be just intended for the librarian authorities, right? The library authorities to access, right? We cannot give this to the user, otherwise the user will see all the information about the books, about the librarians, right? He can also manage them. So we don't want to do that. We only want to keep it to the librarian, right? Or the library authority. So this system, this project is only intended for the librarian authorities or the library authorities, and due to that, for that we made this project. And the goals that we tried to establish, or we tried to we try to overcome, actually we try to follow, where that making making just a simple system where there will be main entity sets, that would be that librarian, and then user, and the book information, or the book section, right? So where we could alter them, we could change them, we could insert new information, we can do that, right? And then we also have a borrowed and a managed section. So if a librarian wants to manage a book, it means that if a librarian wants to add a new book to the library, he or she needs to insert it in the book section, and also add the date when it was added, right? When it was added to the library, that in the managed section. And then we also have a borrowed section, which is also a relationship, and these two are actually binary relationships. And in borrow section, if you want to issue a book, or if you want to give a book to let a user borrow a book, so when the user comes to the library, he or she wants to borrow a book, he or she will tell the librarian, and the librarian will go to the borrow section into the site, and then she or he will enter the book name, the book title, all of that, right? All of that in there, and then that entry will be made in the book section. And if suppose the book is not present in the library, then no updates will be made, no insertion will be made, right? And that is due to foreign key constraints. So there are this is actually the beauty of database, if we want to say. And then carrying on, we have our ER diagram, right? ER diagram. So what is a ER diagram? ER diagram is, see, in this presentation, I am trying to explain it from the scratch, right? Even if someone does not know database, what is a database, he or she will kind of get even a little idea about what a database is, and and also get idea about the project, right? So what is a ER diagram? A ER diagram basically is entity and relationship diagram. It means entity and relationship diagram. What are entities? What are relations? I will explain. Entity is basically a certain element, right? A certain main element. Suppose in our library management system, we have three main entities, that are librarian, user, and books. These are three entities, right? And these three entities are connected by relations. What are the relations? The relations are borrowed and managed. So a book can be borrowed by a user, a book can be managed by a librarian, right? And ER diagram, this diagram method is used to represent the idea that you have in your mind into a representable form. So if I show this diagram to anyone, even a non-database user, or even a person who does not know about database, he will get an idea of what I'm trying to do, right? What my theory is, right? So this is just a representable form of the idea that I have, that I want to make it into reality, right? So this is a representable form. So ER diagram is nothing more than a representative form. And why is it called entity and relationship? Because the diagram contains entity and relation. So entities are connected by relations. So that form, that is why the form is called entity and relationship. Okay, so here we can see these are the three entities: book info, user, and librarian. And I also gave a basic idea about how to create a ER diagram here. So if you want to make any entities, you have to put the name of the entity in a rectangular box, right? Like here, in a rectangular box, right? And In book, suppose you need to, and in book there are more attributes of the book, right? What are those? Or what do you mean by attributes? Features, right? Suppose features like what? The book number. We know that ISBN, right? It is a unique number that international standard book number. I think maybe that, yeah. And then we also have the title, we have the author of the book, we have when the publication was made, then the edition of the book, right? All of these are what? All of these are the attributes of the book info, right? All of these are the attributes of the book info. Another thing is, here you can see that ISBN is underlined, and attributes are always put into elliptical circles, right? Ellipse. So ISBN is underlined because this is the primary key of this entity. And what is a primary key? Okay. In our university, suppose my name is Mahathir, right? There are more students named Mahathir. So how will the faculty, or how will the teacher, or how will the faculty actually, how will the management system also know about me? That what is the difference between this Mahathir and that Mahathir, or what is if they want to update my account info or any kind of info, that how will they understand? So they will understand by the student ID that I have. A student ID of a person cannot be same as the another one, right? So this is an attribute, this is a type which defines me, which makes me different from the other Mahathirs, right? So it makes me distinct. So the attribute that makes an entity set that, sorry, I will say it again. The attribute that makes an entity set unique is known as a primary key. So here the primary key is ISBN, right? Okay, so the primary key is ISBN. All right, then we have all the other attributes related to it. Then for user, the primary key is user ID, because the ID will be of course the unique identifier of that user. Then we have the librarian. For the librarian, the librarian ID is also unique. So that is why that is the primary key. Here we can see some lines that have like a star and a 1. There are 2 lines here that have a star and also a 1. What are these? What are these? What are these? Okay, so these are, suppose we'll start here. Suppose you a librarian needs to issue a book, right, to a user, or if a user wants to borrow a book from the book info or the book section, he or she needs to do it one by one. Meaning what? Meaning what? A user, like in this system, we defined it as such that a user can take more than one book, but one book cannot be taken by more than one user, right? So obviously a book that has ISBN, suppose, since ISBN is a unique identifier, and suppose in our system only one book is present of one type, right? So suppose A02 can be taken only by one user, not more than one. So that is why from the user side to the book section side, it is on the relation is 1. So one user can take more than one book, right? More than a user can take more than one book or one book, right? So, and a book cannot be taken by more than one user. So the system is such that since a user can take more than one book, that is why it is many on the book side and it is 1 on the user side. So this star means many. So many books can be taken by one user, but many books cannot be taken more than one user. Again, I will say many books can be taken by one user, but many books cannot be taken by more than one user. If it could have been taken by more than one user, then here also a star would have been present. And here we see that there is a single line here, right? A single line. So this relationship is what? Many to one relationship from the book side to the user side. And here we can also see that there is a line that represents the connection. So since this is a single line, this means that this is a partial relationship constraint, right? This is a partial relationship constraint. What does that mean? What does that mean? A book at one time, a book, meaning that in the library, suppose there are lots of books, right? And then from there, suppose a book is not taken by a user, right? Or is not being issued to the user. So it will stay in the library. It doesn't matter if a book is taken or not, it will still be a part of the library. Again, here, so since a book is a part of the library, even if it is not borrowed by a user, that is why it is in partial relationship with the user, right? So it can be taken or it might not be taken, but still be a part of the library. And a user can also take a book or not take a book. It depends on the user. And still, user is a part of the library. That is why user is in a partial relationship with the book, and a book is also in a partial relationship with the user. That is why this single line is present. So what, again, I will say, what is the relationship here? Is a many to one relationship and a total and a partial relationship, right? Okay. Then we will move on to the managed by. So every book, whenever entered into the library, the librarian needs to make a managed section, needs to make an entry into the managed section that this book was added on this date, right? On this XYZ date, right? So the librarian needs to make that update every time a book is entered into the library. And that is why so every book is managed by a librarian. That is why the book info is in total relationship, total participation with the librarian, right? So that is why a double line is present here. And since many books can be controlled by one librarian, but many books cannot be controlled by more than one, many books can be controlled by a librarian, but one book cannot be controlled by more than one librarian. That is why many books are controlled by one librarian. That is why star on the book side and 1 on the librarian side. That means that, again, I will say that book, I will repeat it again, that book, one book cannot be managed by more than one librarian, right? But many books can be controlled or managed by one librarian, right? Even maybe this is a bit unclear here, but still you can still repeat the what does it say? Repeat the video a few seconds back or a few minutes back, and then you will understand it completely. So even if you don't understand, I will try to make a I'll try to do it here. Okay. So what I said is that many books can be managed by one librarian, but one book cannot, it cannot be managed by more than one librarian. So that is why the relationship from book side to librarian side is many to one. You always have to think like this relationship set, we didn't get it from anywhere. We had to think that how is our system going to be, right? So then we thought that no, many books will be controlled by one librarian, but more than one book can one book cannot be controlled by more than one librarian, because if you think it practically, that like in a library management system, like in the practical sense, when we go to our NDB library, right? When we go to any university's library, like even if we are in other universities, I'm talking to everyone. Even when we go to the library, we see that, or that we acknowledge that one librarian only manages one book, but or one librarian can manage more than one book, but that book will not, that has been managed by that librarian, suppose that librarian is X, that book will not be managed by another librarian that is Y, because it doesn't make any sense, right? Already it has been managed by one librarian, why should I manage by another one, right? So whenever the book is added to the library, since this is only we are talking about books being added to the library in the first place, that book that has been added at the first place will only be controlled by only one librarian. I think you got it now. Okay, now. Okay. So that is why it is in a total participation from the book side, and also there is a many sign that I explained right now. And then here we can see that this is actually not total participation, this is partial participation. Why is that? A librarian can manage a book or not manage a book and still be part of the library. Okay, so we are going to create a table, and this table is known as schema. So what is a schema? It is basically, what is a relational schema? It is the when you guys actually, like the newcomers to the course database, when they actually they will start, when you will start the course, you will get to learn that schema is nothing more than the basic structure of the database, right? The basic structure of the database, or a certain entity, right? Or a certain entity. So here we can see that book info is an entity, and for that there are 5 columns here. These five columns are categorized by types, and these types, like the set of types, are known as schema, right? Relational schema. And this, here we can see that the year diagram has been transformed to a form known as table. And we do this, we convert this to table, because when we because in the database, in the actual database in localhost, we always have to make tables, because they only accept the form of tables, right? You can make database in the form of tables, not year diagrams. That is why we have to transform it. And to transform it, there are a few rules. I will not explain all the rules here, since this is just my project video. This is just our project video, and that is why we will just explain how we converted our year diagram into this schema, this schema form. So how we did that, here first I will talk about the entity sets, how we converted those. So here we can see that the book info is an entity, so you will add all of the attributes of it starting with the primary key. So we did that: ISBN, title, author, publication, edition. Then for user, we also added all the attributes starting with the user ID here. And then for librarian, we added ID, name, city, street, which were the attributes of the librarian. For the relation, since this is a one-to-one relation, right? So this is this is a many-to-one relation without total participation, right? Without total participation. This is again what? This is a many-to-one relationship without total participation. For this, the rule says that add the primary key, insert the primary key of the book info, also the primary key of the user ID, and if there are any additional attributes of the relation itself, which was date issued, right? When is the book being issued to the user? So that is being so that will be put into the schema. So what will be put? The primary key of the book info, that is ISBN, the primary key of the user ID, that is user, that is user ID, and the additional attribute of the relation itself. So for borrowed by here. So we can see okay, the primary key of this table, of this schema will be we can declare it any of the primary keys. So ISBN also is a primary key of the book section, and user ID is also a primary key of the user section. So we can declare the primary key of the schema as any one of them. So in this case, I said ISBN would be the primary key, and user ID will be the foreign key. So if we want to issue a book to a user, if that user is not present in the user section, we cannot update it. That is why we used it as a foreign key, and that is why there are little dots representing that this is a foreign key, and underline under the ISBN that it means a primary key, and that means a primary key. So for the librarian section, here we can see that this is a many-to-one relationship with total participation on the book side. So the rule relating to this is that add all the attributes of the many side, right? So many side is this. So ISBN will be first, and then title, author, publication, edition, and then also add the primary key of the librarian, right? And add the additional relation of the additional attribute of the relation itself. So for managed by ISBN, title, author, publication, edition. Then we have ID of the librarian and date added. So ID means what? And date added is actually when the book is being entered into the database, into the library, right? And ID is kept as foreign key. It means that when we want to enter something into the managed by section, if suppose the book is not there, then the data will not be entered. And if the user, right, if the librarian is not there, right, is not in the database, then also he or she cannot add anything. So you have to put a valid librarian ID and a valid ISBN respecting to the database itself. So here ISBN is the primary key, and ID is the foreign key. And here we cannot choose which one will be the primary key, because due to the rule of many-to-one with total participation, you have to keep the many sides primary key as the primary key of the newly formed relation schema. Okay. Then here are the databases that we have created in the local host, right? In the local host, we have created these schemas, and the schemas, the schema that we draw and view here are being created in the local host, and I will not show how to create that. You can search that somewhere in the YouTube, because this is a since our lecturer will say to actually make a project, and we cannot always find the project that we want, or the lecturer will say that don't add any kind of design in it. So I have seen in the YouTube that every video contains, mostly every video relating to library management contains JavaScript or a CSS, and that means that they use design. But this project is without design, so that is why I'm trying to explain how we did what. And I am also trying to give you a basic idea of our database, and I will not tell you that how to create this, because this is kind of very easy, and you can just go to the YouTube and search for that, how to insert or make a table in the local host. So here we can see that for book info, the ISBN, title, author, edition, publication. So the schemas are being transferred here, that all of that we have created. And we cannot see it here, but when you go to the localhost server and when you go to the structure, you can actually see that ISBN is the primary key of book info, user ID is the primary key of the user ID. For borrowed, the primary key would be ISBN, and you also for the relations you have to go to localhost, go to the structure of borrowed, go to the relation view, and then declare there that that the foreign key is user ID and also as ISBN, right? In cascade form, and if you do that, then the tables will be connected. So here you can see that I have created a database named LM, and under that all of these are the schemas that we have created. Okay, then HTML and PHP. So what are these, right? What are these? HTML is basically, it means hypertext markup language. And what is this? What does this language actually do? It just makes the basic structure of a web page, right? If you want to write something on a web page, suppose the title of the web page, then you want to make a table on the web page, or if you want to insert a picture on the web page, right? Or if you want to give a link on the web page to another page, like all of these are done this hypertext markup language, right? So HTML just creates the basic structure of the web page, and it also kind of connects the text to the site, and then makes the structure, right? So when you actually connect it to the when the local host, in the local host, when you write the pages and the file's name, it will show up. And how it shows up, what is done, I will also show you that, no worries. So then we have PHP, right? PHP, what does this mean? Pre-hypertext processor. What is that? By the name, it means that you can the code that you write in PHP runs on the server that has been written in HTML. So you can basically embed a PHP file in you can embed a PHP code. Sorry, you can embed a PHP code in that HTML file. But when you do that, you have to make sure that you save the file as .php, since you have used code of PHP in there. Okay, and you cannot save it. I don't know if you can, but I have heard that you cannot save it as HTML since you have used PHP in it, right? So so what is PHP? PHP is basically a scripting language. Now, what is a scripting language? See, the programming languages, this is also a programming language, but the other programming languages that we have used, such as C, such as Java, so these languages, you have to write it in an editor, or even if you write it in a text, you have to copy it to an editor, then compile it. Otherwise it will not be executable. But scripting languages are what? You can write it in a script, such as a text file, and then if you connect it to the server, or if you write the server, if you write the file in the server, suppose in localhost you will write, suppose a PHP file named as index.php, you will just write that, and the page will show up, and the operations related to that page that have been written in PHP, it will be executed on the server. So basically PHP is a scripting language which is used to execute operations, and those operations are executed on the server. Okay, these are some HTML keywords. Maybe all of us know what are these, but I'll just go over these again. That is HTML. This is the tag used to always start a HTML. There is another tag that is, if you want to write a document type HTML, you have to write doc HTML. I will show how is that done. Then we have a header section. Right, a header has actually 5 headers: H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and maybe even more. I'm not sure, but I know only about these 5. And what these do is that H1 is the largest font size, H2 is smaller than that, H3 is smaller than that, H4 is smaller than that. So like so, and then we have center. Right, center are what? So if you want to write a text that will show up in the center of the web page, then you have to write it in this tag. Table is to start a table and end a table. Then TR means actually table row, so to start a new table row. And then you want to start a TD, right? So TD is actually used to make a data cell in that row. So so how are all of these implemented? Will show in the codes, then you can get a better idea. So a few PHP syntaxes and keywords. Oh, PHP are, there are a few complicated. They're not complicated. At first look, they look kind of complicated, but once you understand them, and they're not really that much complicated. So when you want to embed a code, a PHP code in an HTML, you always have to start with this syntax, right? With this syntax, and then end with this syntax, right? And then $. So dollar is used actually to declare a variable in a PHP code. Form action, method post. This means that if you want to, suppose in a web page, you want to insert some values, and since you want to insert those values into the database, you have to actually create a form, right? Form. Actually, this form action is not completely PHP syntax. This is also actually, this is actually HTML syntax. In mistake I put it here, but this is actually a HTML syntax, right? In this HTML syntax, what you're doing is that in that form, when you write something, right? When you write something, those values will be forwarded to a page, a PHP file in the text editor, where there are codes for those or the queries to actually insert those values into the database. So at first, the first step is to create a form in the website, in the web page. So to do that, you always have to create a form, and this form is created in such a manner that form action method post. Post means that if you want to post any kind of values into the database, that is why you need to use post. Actually, not into it will be posted into the database. But this is in primary concepts. You first have to put a file name here, and post actually does what? Post actually does what? The values that will be in the form will be posted to this file that will be written here, right? And get is what? Get is also a HTTP method, and this is actually what it does is retrieve any kind of value from the file that will be written here. Okay, and submit is what? As soon as you write submit or press submit, then all the values that will be present in the form will be forwarded to the file name that will be written here, and value equals to submit. So you can actually, the function will be the same, but you can actually name that function as submit, or you can name it any other name, right? Or any other title, and it will show up as such on the web page. And reset is what? When you write in the form, suppose you want to actually make some changes or actually clear it all up, so you can just reset the value, reset it, and then the form will go back to its initial values. That would probably be blank, right? So and you can also name the reset as reset or any other name if you want. Okay, so this is actually a PHP and MySQL this is actually a MySQL query syntax, and here what is, and also actually a PHP syntax. Like two of them are combined. Actually, in our project we have combined the PHP and MySQL syntaxes to actually perform the queries, and we need to do that, otherwise it will not work. So here this is a simple query in our database. When you actually start to learn database, you'll learn about these queries. So what it actually means is that from the table book info, sorry for speaking in Bangla, but from the table book info, you can you're selecting ISBN, title, author, edition, publication. So basically all the column names, and then under those columns, all of the values, right? All of the values will show up due to this query. So this query means what? That the values of ISBN, title, author, edition, publication will be shown, which is from the table book info, where this is a condition, right? After where you write a condition, and that condition is title, right? Where the title is like search, right? So the search name, the name search. So suppose in the variable search we defined we gave a input that would be, suppose, Harry, right? So the name Harry will be searched in the database and will be retrieved and will be shown, yes, due to this query. And here we can see that like syntax is used, right? So what does like mean? Like means that when you suppose want to just give a substring, suppose the entire title is actually Harry Potter, but if you just give Harry, the entire title will be retrieved, and respected to that title, this entire query will be performed or executed. So like is always used to actually take input of a substring, or put a substring, right, or match a substring into the main database. And then result, right? This is actually what the main query, the main syntax is this, that MySQL query DB comma query. This is actually what this is, connecting the query to the database itself. And how is it doing that? I will also explain that. And this is being assigned to the variable result. And as I said, to actually declare a variable, or actually to make a variable in the PHP syntax, we always have to add a $sign to it. Okay. So we want to make a site, right? We want to write something in HTML, we want to do some queries, we want to insert values. But before doing all of those, we have to make a connection page, right? This connection can be made in PDO or MySQL. And our lecturer said that that now in present times DB connection does not work, like this syntax does not work anymore. But when I tried it up, maybe it doesn't work in other text editors or something like that. But we use Sublime text editor, and in the text editor this works. And we copied this, actually, as I said, that we copied 5 codes from the from that website, and this is one of those codes, right? So so this actually will connect the text files to the actually the server to the database itself. Okay, so you can see that it is starting with a PHP syntax, right? It is starting with a PHP tag, right? So in here, you're defining the DB server. These are all actually keywords, and you're defining that the database server is localhost. And for our localhost in every PC, the address probably is the same. That is why it worked. I didn't change anything here, and it worked fine. So we did what? We actually wrote that we defined the DB server as localhost, and then we gave a DB database username. Actually, I'm not for the username. It has always been like root for the localhost server. So, and we didn't define any passwords, since there are no passwords in that we define in the localhost. So we don't need to give any passwords here. All right, and then we also define the database that we actually want to connect as LM. Since I showed in the schema slide that there was that we created our database named LM. So we also wrote that database as LM here. And finally, this is a keyword, mysql connect, and it connects all of these defined keywords, and it connects all of them, and it is being assigned. And since these are being connected, so that means what? That means that from the localhost server with the username root, the database LM is being connected and is being assigned to this variable that is known as DB. All right. Okay. And that is why that is the main function of this keyword, that is mysql connect. Okay. And we also enter the PHP code with this. Okay. Here in our library management system, in our main page, right? We created. Since this is very simple, we just made some links here that would allow us to enter a new book information, search that book, and then to delete that book if you want to update the book name if you want to go to the librarian page and enter a new librarian information or manage a book that is inside this link here. And then we go to the user page. And then add a new user, or issue a book to that user, or delete that issued book, right? All of these are there. And then finally we have the see all books, see all book option. So if we click this, we can see all the books that are in our database. So how did we do the coding here? We basically, as I said, that to create a document type HTML, we have to write this tag doc type HTML, and then HTML we have created. We want to write a code for HTML, so we will start with this tag, and then we'll start the body itself. Right, we will start the body itself. So in the body will be okay. For HTML, there are a few codes for the color, right? The color combination, and then and for the color, and you can probably search this in the internet, that what is the color combination for blue, for yellow, for red, like all of that will be written, all of those codes will be written there. So for this color combination, this blue is probably 87 sieves. It is 87 sieve, and then you will just write it BG color. BG means background color, right? So body's background color will be 87 sieve. And then in the center of on the top in the center, we have our simple library management system. The screenshot here shows that it is H2, but I have altered it to H1, so it shows it even bigger, right? And then we'll start, and this is in the center, so we have used the center tag, and then we have added some codes here. We have added some links here. So how do we add links in HTML? We do that by href. So inside here we can add the URL or the file links, right? So in our editor we will I will show you that too, but to say it temporarily is that we add the file address. That suppose I enter books.php, that file contains the form or the codes for entering in the book information. So to enter a new book information, click here. So basically in this due to this link and due to this tag, right, this tag and then center tag, and then to enter a new book, then again center tag closes, then A closes, right? So all of that writing is in that link, like it shows here. So this is actually a link and also a writing that has been created in the center. Okay. And similarly, all of those other search book, delete book, update book, these are all files. Actually, these are all file links, and we'll go there. And then finally, we also added a picture. The picture is not shown here, but we added a picture, and this beer means that line break. All right. So we break the line and go to the next line, and then here we can see that in the center we have added a file, and this file is also kept with the files that are in the library management folder, right? And then that has been linked here, image source this, and then alternate text. It means that if you don't, if you don't find the image, then you show this text. And then style, this syntax is used to define the size of the picture. All right, and then finally center is used to close this. So that means that the picture will be shown in the center. Okay. Okay, the first page was to enter a new book. So we go to interbooks.php. In here, you can actually enter. So the same syntax will be there for the writing on the top. That is the simple library management system. And then here we can see that the HTML form has been started. So here what happens that in the that it refers to insert books.php, and the method is post. So all of these values, what are the values? We have started a table, and then in that table we can see we can see that we write, okay, so first of all, we start a table, right? We start a table, and then we start a table row. So this is suppose the first row, and oh, before that, when you start a table, in there the border is 2. So this is the border. So this is the size of 2. And then we align the table itself in the center, and cell padding. Cell padding means the distance between the data the cell data and the cell boundary. Right, so this is the boundary and this is the data cell. So the distance is 5, and then the cell spacing means the space between each cell. So this is a data cell, this is a data cell. So these are actually what? These are actually spaced by 5 size. Again, so we have started a new table row. So we have started a new table row, and then we can see that we have created a data cell. So in the first data cell, we'll write enter ISBN like here, and then we will create an empty, basically it's not empty, but we create a data cell, and in there we will take input. That is why we write the syntax for the input, that is input type. What will be the type? It will be text type, and then we will name it ISBN. Right, we'll name the text. Basically, what we write in that text, in that input section, that will be saved in the variable ISBN, and the size will be 48. Right. Okay. We close this. We close the data cell. We close the row, and we open a new row. And similarly, all of these variables, all of these values are being set into these variables that are ISBN, title, author, edition, and these will be posted to the insert books.php file. Okay. And finally, we can see that we close the tier for the publication, the row for the publication, and then start a new row. And then in that row, we make an empty data cell, right? Like this empty data cell, and then we create a new data cell, and in there we write, first of all, we write submit. Right, submit, as I said, that input submit, and this is also an input type. So when you actually click this, it will submit all these values, ISBN, title, author, edition, publication, into the file that is insert books.php. All right. Okay. Okay. And if you want to reset the value, reset all the writing that you wrote here, it will just do that by reset option. Okay. And then the form tag has been closed, the body has been closed, and finally all of that value will be posted to the insert books.php. Okay, now I will show what will happen in the insert books.php. In the insert books.php, the same thing is here, that is, you start with HTML, body color, background color, same, simple library management, same. Okay, then you start a PHP code. Right, in this PHP code, you include the DB connection file, because if you don't include that, when we will actually connect the query with the database, we will need this variable that is DB, and to do that, you have to include the PHP file that is DB connection. Otherwise, if you don't include this, then when you actually write DB, the site will show error. It will show probably that where is DB? DB is undeclared, but it is not undeclared. It is declared. But where is it declared? It is declared in the DB connection file. Right, so you have to include the DB connection file link here. Otherwise, and include is a keyword. Include or require. For require, there is probably another syntax, but for include, this is the syntax. And this is actually doing what? This is actually this is being included here because you have to retrieve the variable that is in dbconnection.php, which is db, right? So here we can see that all of those values, ISBN, title, author, edition, publication, is being updated here, and we are actually assigning it to a new variable, but since PHP does not understand HTML syntax, so we have to actually declare it to a new variable, right? So which is ISBN. So and you also write you also give a post, $post. So post, inside it you have to write the values. So why is this used? This is used to actually, so when this post ISBN is assigned in here, so how does this work? I will show it in the page. Okay. So basically what it does is that in the post ISBN, right, in the post section, that ISBN value will come here. Suppose the value is 302, right, when you input something there. And then why is this post used? Because $post actually. So why is this used? Because this value 302 needs to be posted to the database, right? So to do that, we don't need to write always $post, $post this, $post that. So that is why we will assign it to a new variable, which is $ISBN, right? And this can be called upon in the query, and this ISBN contains what? This $post. So that means that 302 will be posted up to the what? Database, right? So basically what it happens, it comes to the query, and then goes to the database, execution time, database execution, basically it executes. So when the query is being executed, then ISBN will be recalled, and from ISBN again the value of ISBN will be broken, right, executed. So this is how it actually works. I have tried to show it in simpler terms. Okay, so this is actually what is being happening here. So all of these post variables is being assigned to this new variable, and then the main query, right? The main query is being assigned to a variable called query, named query. So for inserting any value into the database, the syntax is such in MySQL is that insert into table name, that is book info. In there, all the attributes that are present in the book info in the localhost server, ISBN, title, author, edition, publication, and then the values. So what are the values? The values are this. So when we type in 302, it will go to ISBN. It will actually go to this, and then that will go to this, and then that will be updated in the localhost server in our database, right? So this is the syntax for it. And then for furthermore, we need to connect this query with the database, right? So how will we do that? We will do that by this keyword MySQLite query, and then we will connect the variable DB, which was in the DB connection page, right? And that is why we need this include DB connection. So we'll connect the query with the DB and then assign it to result. Okay. All right. Then the PHP tag has been closed, and then we can see that the book information is inserted successfully. Okay. And after that, what happens is that we gave two links. Those links are searchbook.php and we have index.php. Okay, we have searchbooks.php and we have index.php. In the search book file, we will search any kind of book information by the name of the book, and in the index.php it just goes back to the main page. All right. Okay. And why is index the main page? I will explain it at last when we'll actually see the codes in the editor and also in the web page. So this will be the output of the output of this file, which will be this: book information is inserted successfully. And to search book for the book information, click here, or to go to the main page, click here. So in the search book, since we will search it by a name, by the title of the book, so here we can see that enter the title of the book to be searched, right? And then in there we have named that variable as search. So basically, our writing will show up saying that enter the title of the book to be searched, and then after that, this input what is this? This input box will show up where you can write an input and give the input, and that input will be saved as search, and you submit it. You submit it, and after you submit it, it goes to the displaybooks.php. So this is the display books. Okay, this is a very long code, and I will try to explain it line to line, word to word. So you start the code. You started by PHP. You write the same thing again because we need this. We need the DB value, DB variable. Okay, and then you can see that since we are going to search our book information by the name of the book, which is search. So we have to actually put a request sign, right? So what does this request sign do? This request keyword do? This will actually suppose the search value we gave, the name was Harry, right? This will request from the database itself. That means that localhost from there, and it will request the title from there, right? It will request the title from there, and then put it in the query that we will write. Put it in the query that we will write. Okay. That is why we use request, and that request is being assigned to the another new variable, that is $search. Okay. Why do we use? Then we will write the query for it. So we want to search. We want to actually see all the information of the book, which name is search, variable, which is actually suppose Harry. So the title would be like search, and like this like is used to actually match a substring. that you will write in the where condition, right? And then if you write, suppose Harry, and the entire name of the book is Harry Potter, you don't need to write the entire name in the search field. You can write just Harry, and it will match all the match all the Harry Potter books, and then it will show the values. It will show the information related to that title, which is Harry. So here you can see that select ISBN, title, author, edition, publication. So all of these column related data will be shown from where, from the table name, which is book info, and then where title like search. Okay. Result. So result equals to, again I say that the query is being connected with the localhost server. Okay. So if there are any rows related to, suppose, Harry, then suppose there are tuples. So again, tuples are what? Tuples are actually rows. So rows of information, right? One of each rows are known, or each row of information are known as instances, right? When you actually start learning database, you will see that each row of information are known as tuple or instances, right? So database instance. So if there are more than one row, this keyword is used for that. So that mysql number of rows, mysql number of rows, and then inside there you put the results. So that means that related to that query, suppose after executing the query, suppose, again I spoke Bangla, okay. Since this I'm explaining it in entirely English, I want to only concentrate on speaking English. That is why I'm always saying, like, sorry for speaking Bangla again and again. If I didn't in Bangla, then I would probably do it entirely in Bangla. Okay. What was it? Wait, let me see again. Result equals to, okay. So, okay. Suppose the name Harry, right? The name Harry, related to that are information, this entire row of information. So there are what? One row. If there are even more names related to Harry, then it will come, right? So there are more than 0 rows. There are more than 0 rows, right? So if mysql, okay. First of all, the thing that I wanted to explain was that the result, how is that being connected to the query? Okay. First of all, let me erase all of this. The query is being executed, right? After being connected in the results section. The query is being executed. After being executed, so suppose this underline represents that it is being executed, right? So after being executed, or this tape, right? After this is being executed, so if it has been executed, probably the search name was Harry. So due to this execution, the row that has been retrieved is probably something like, then there will be another, there will be columns of other types that would be, suppose, edition, publication, ISBN, and all that. And the query relates to the query after execution. This row shows up, right? This row shows up. Then, since there are number of rows more than 1, and this has been connected to that keyword, as you can see, mysql number of rows, result is greater than 0. So this is a keyword, mysql number of rows. That means that number of rows of the result, which result is greater than 0. As I said, that the row that has been executed by the query will be assigned to result. So when MySQL number of rows of result are greater than 0, and in this case it is greater than 0, it will go into this code here. And another thing is that that here you can see that the boundary of if continues even after PHP boundary ends. So we have to end the PHP boundary since we want to again start a HTML table, right? So whenever we write again HTML syntax, we have to end the PHP boundary, and whenever we need to write PHP code, we have to start the PHP code again. And this starting, this ending, I don't know if it really matters. You guys research about this, right? You guys search, or if you have any doubts. I also have doubts, but yeah, but if you want to be sure about it, then try to actually write all of this PHP code in one tag, right? And see if it executes or not. And if it doesn't, then understand that maybe you need to end the PHP code to start the HTML code. Okay. So here you can see that the table has been started. The same thing is happening here. And then here you can see that these are table headers, right? So in the table, so these are table headers. Okay. Okay, table headers have been declared, have been written, and then under that, and then the table row has been closed, and a new table row will start. Before starting the new table row, we are declaring what? We are declaring again PHP tag. So why we do that? Why we do that? We do that because we want to make a loop here. So suppose if there are more than one rows that have the title Harry, suppose there are 3 books of Harry Potter, and then you need you need to what? You need to put it in a row, otherwise it will only show probably one Harry Potter book, right? So what you do here is that this is again another syntax, that is mysql fetch ASO. Yes, and mysql fetch ASO, what it does is that this creates an associative array, and in the associative array, all the values of the result, suppose the result contains title, ISBN, author, edition, publication, all of this are what? Each variable, right? So associative array, what it does, it will actually save up all those variables one by one, right? So ISBN will be here probably, and then title will be here, title, then edition, sorry, author, and like so edition and publication. So all of that will be saved up in the associative array, and this associative array, how we understand that this will save up that, because in the bracket of the associative array the result is given, right? And then this has been assigned to row dollar, right? So as long as there are values of associative array still left, right, the loop will just continue. All right. So here we can see that. Here we can see. I think okay, I'm also a bit confused about this. Maybe you guys just research about this and see if it actually does what I say, that if there are more than one name Harry, then it will show all of them. It should show. It should show. So search that, and if it does not show, that means that this is only used to to actually go by variables one by one. So ISBN, title, author, edition, publication. All right, but I think it should work. I think it should work. Okay, since yeah, it should work. It should work. Okay. Why did we assign this to row? Since we don't. It is a big hassle to write all this much more bigger keyword. So we are just assigning it to row. And then here we end the PHP because we want to start another HTML tag. So tier sorry, the new row, and then in there the data cell is. In the data cell, we start the PHP code again because we need to actually print it on the web page. So to print something on the web page with the PHP code, you need PHP syntax. The keyword for that is echo. All right. So echo row ISBN, and this you can see this third bracket is always used for arrays, right? So in the array row. In the array row, the ISBN value will be printed. Okay, which has been retrieved from the what? From the database. And here you can see the method is get. So you're retrieving the value. You're retrieving the values from the database. All right. Actually, the method get is actually used for only the search option, and the others are just automatically showing up. Okay, due to the query that has been given here. All right. Then similarly, all of the others, title, author, edition, publication, is being printed. All right, and then here you can see the table row has been ended. So we start the table row has been ended, and here we also added, actually it is not in this code, but in the actual code we added a table end of the table that has been started here. And then we gave the PHP syntax to start, because the if boundary started in a PHP syntax, so it needs to end in a PHP syntax too, because it contains PHP syntax in the conditions, right? So we end that, and in HTML form you cannot actually, in HTML since HTML is only used for web page structuring or structuring, so you cannot actually write conditions like if, while in the HTML tags, and it will not execute. So you need to always write it in a PHP syntax. So this PHP syntax is started again, and then the if condition is closed and the while condition closed. While condition closed here, if condition closed here. Then there is a else. So if suppose there are no number of rows that has been found, so no result named Harry related to Harry, so it will show that it will echo print that no books has been found. This system does not actually the concept is the same, but maybe I did something wrong in the syntax. I really don't know what, but it is not working. The if-else statement is not working. The insertion, the showing of all the information is okay. It works, but the if-else statement, for some reason, it does not. The else statement does not work. Right, the else statement does not work. Maybe you guys can research more and try to make this successful. All right. So this will, so suppose Harry Potter, the name Harry Potter is there, and then it will show up. Okay. Okay, the show all books. The show all books is same, completely it's the same. The difference is where? The difference is just here. So it's just right here. So we don't give any condition here. We only need to see all the book information, right? All the book rows, so we don't give any information where name is equal to Harry Potter, because if we did that, only the information related to the name Harry Potter will show. But we need to see all the books. So select ISBN, title, author, edition, publication. Instead of all of these, since we want to see all of the columns, we can also put a star. All right, and if the star doesn't work, maybe then you need to write it like this. Okay, so from book info, where we don't give anything because we need to see all the book lists. All right, so here everything is here, right, in the same manner that this happened. So I'm not explaining this code again because I have explained this. All right, we also added a delete option, right? For the delete option, it is also quite easy. For the delete option, since you need to do what? You need to actually delete something in the database, right? So you are actually altering the database value. So when you are altering something or posting something or inserting something, then you need to always use the post method in the form section. Here I didn't show the form section because pretty much it's the same. I'm just showing the query section. So okay, another thing, for each operation that we did, suppose delete, insert, update, or anything, we had to always create two pages. One for the form, where you actually insert the information, or you insert the title which you want to delete or update. And then another form is where the query is actually set, and the query is connected to the database, right? So here you can see that okay, even if the query is being posted to the database, you need to actually request the delete option, request delete from the database, because you want to request the value, right? When you write something in the delete, suppose you write, okay, I will show you here. Suppose this is the delete variable, right? In the delete variable, you write the ISBN number, suppose 102, right? So this 102 will is set as a request, and that request is doing what? It is requesting from the database that it shows it was requesting from the database to retrieve the value 102 from the database DB, or in our case actually LM. So from that the 102 ISBN number containing tuple or row will be deleted. How will it be deleted? It will be deleted by this query. Okay, it will be deleted by this query, where since it is requesting the delete value from the to be matched from the database and coming to the query itself, right? So in the query itself, it is coming the delete from the database. So where it says that delete from book info, this is actually a MySQL syntax. Delete from book info, delete from table name. So that is book info, where ISBN like suppose 102. Why do we use like? So suppose if you don't want to give the entire ISBN number, you just write the first 3 number or 2 number, or even and due to that, it matches the substring. So the substring is what? 102. It matches the substring with the ISBN saved in the database. All right. So due to that, that row will be deleted due to this query. And again, the same thing happens here, that the query is connected with the result. Okay, the connected with the database. Sorry, with the database through this DB and this this SQLite query keyword. All right, and then so when you actually delete a row, delete a row under this condition. So obviously after deletion, that row will not be there, right? From this query there will be no row present. So after this, from this result there will be no row present. So if there is a number of rows of the result is 0, all right, if the number of row is 0. And also another thing, you have seen or noticed that there are 2 ifs, and I really don't know why, since I'm just starting to learn through this project, or that what is PHP. I can't say it all, but yeah, I did say that I will explain every one of it, but I'm really not sure about this. So I'm giving you guys the hassle to actually find out what is it, if you are interested actually. So why do they use 2 ifs? I really don't know that. And then the concept basically is here. What the concept is basically, if the rows of the result are 0, then it will write that the book has been deleted. Otherwise it will write that the book has not been deleted. Okay. I tried to actually finish this in only one PHP tag, and maybe because of that, the else statement did not work, because obviously if you give some kind of delete option where the type where probably that ISBN is not in the book list, so obviously it will not delete anything. So in that case the else statement would work, and the book would be like not deleted, or the book is not there, something like that we can write here. But this else statement did not work. I really don't know why. Maybe because of the PHP syntax being ended wrong. Right. So as I said, that the PHP syntax needs to be end before our HTML syntax starts. So this is a HTML syntax. Maybe here the PHP syntax needs to be ended, and then maybe from here the PHP syntax needs to be started again. Maybe something like that. You guys find it out. If you are interested, that is. I am saying I have said quite a few times for you guys to find out, but because like if you were interested, then you will find what is going on here. Okay, and then this is ended. Then we will after deletion, I gave an option that you need to see actually what are all the databases that are present here, right? What are all the databases? Sorry, the list of books that are present after being deleted. So that is why I linked a show all.php. And the show all I have shown here. Okay, then there is update. So suppose the book name Harry Potter, you want to update it to some kind of another book name, right? So how will you do that? In this case, since update statement needs 2 variables. And actually, when I was doing update and delete, I had quite the hassle to match these things, and it was not working. Especially in terms of update, it was really not working. I was really fed up. I thought that no, let's just leave it. And since ma'am didn't say actually say that no, you need to do it, right? It is important, or like you must do it. She didn't say that, so I was thinking that no, just to leave it. And then again, after a few moments, I thought no, since I started, let's try to finish it. And then finally it worked. Even if it did not work at that moment, probably I would have left it as it was, but it thankfully it worked. And by the grace of Allah, it worked. Okay, let's it worked. Okay. Okay, so I was saying that in update statement, first I will write the update query for it. So update query. Sorry for, actually the handwriting is really bad here. I can't control this really well. Update let's just write a text. Update table name. Then we have set, then column name of the table. Suppose column name is title, right? Title 2. Then you just give this here, and it will be so suppose the new name is Percy, right? Percy. And then how will I understand that which column is it, right? Which row is it? Which row is it? We'll say where ISBN. Since the ISBN always represents each row in a distinct way, right? So ISBN is the primary key. So ISBN equals to suppose 102. Right. So what is it doing? It's updating the table name. Suppose in my case the table name is book info. So set title to Percy, right? And so previous name was probably Harry. Now it is Percy. All right. Where ISBN equals to 102, meaning that the row or the book ISBN is 102. All right. So meaning what? As I said, that there are two variables used here. So one variable is this. So this variable I named it new, and this variable I named it update. Update. I didn't use the E because maybe I don't know. Maybe it would have been mixed up. So with the syntax that is update, that is why I used the update. UPDAT. Okay. So here we can see that the form action is going actually to updated.php, which is this, and the method is post. Since we need to alter something in the database, we need to give it a post method. Okay. So enter the ISBN of the book, which is update, and enter the new title, which is new, right? As I said, and then submit, and then it goes here. Here you can see that update equals to request update. Why did we write request? Because we want to retrieve the value of the update. So this is probably the update value. So 102, and then we want to retrieve it from the database to the query. So we want to put it in the query, which would probably be this, right? Which should probably be this. So basically, this 102, it means actually update. So update is being requested from the database and set in this entire query. All right. Then Percy new is being in post method. So Percy will go and post to the database. You get it? So update is being requested and new is being posted. Update is being requested from the database to be set in the query, and then that query will execute searching in the database and setting new. Probably the new name would be Percy, and that title would be set into the into the database. And the syntax is this: update book info set title equals to new. So the news value would be Percy, where ISBN like ISBN like update. So there I showed equal to, but here you can write also like. So like means that a substring will be matched, all right? And then this query will again be connected with the database with this keyword, okay? And that's pretty much it. And then after that, I also gave a link here to show all the books after being updated, all right? Similarly, this delete option has been also done in the user section, because probably you issue a book to the user, and when the user returns it back, you need to delete it again. So for that the same thing happens. It's just the table name changes, and probably this also remains same, but the table name changes. Suppose the table section is actually borrowed, so you need to write borrowed here, okay? And probably to show all the users, you need to just change these column names from suppose not book info, from users, right? So you just keep changing those, and they remain. And you also change a bit here, right? Look, I'm just trying to give the basic idea, because if I want to actually explain the entire thing, the video will be up to, like, I don't know, 3 hours or more than that, right? So that would be a long process, and I don't have that much energy actually to explain all of this, since today I just gave the presentation for it, and due to shortage of time, I couldn't actually explain all of it in the class, since you can see that it has already been around like 1 hour or something like that, and still it has not ended. So you don't get that much time in the class. So my lecturer asked me to actually ask us to actually record all of these explanations and post it on the classroom. So I'm also doing it for the classroom and also for you guys, and for me too, because I wanted to explain what I did. Because when you actually do something or give time to do something, give effort to do something, then you actually, when you can't express the hard work that you did, you sometimes feel I don't know, I don't know the right adjective for it, probably in simple terms, bad, right? So you really feel kind of frustrated inside, that you want to express how hard you worked upon this project. Even if it is a very simple project, for me it was it was not a bit, it was quite hard for me, because I didn't know PHP. I forgot how HTML syntaxes work. I had to search many styles. I had to work on this for, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 days, right? And then I not like in these 3 or 4 days, probably in a day, I worked on it like for what, 4 to 5 hours or 6 hours, right? And that's how I did it. And not I, we did it actually. Muskan also gave her best into this. She also gave efforts, and this is how we did it. So we just gave the basic idea. About what we did. If you are interested in this, probably you'll not be interested in this probably when the project submission time comes, or when the teacher gives you a project. Maybe then you will remember that that Mahathir gave a certain video link or a recorded video, and then we want to see that to get a good idea. Maybe then you will require this, but I'm giving it now. So if you are interested, you will remember this thing even in later times. And I couldn't explain all of the code because, as I said, it would take much more time. It would take much more time and patience, and also you need patience to understand all of this. But I tried to explain the syntaxes. So when you actually try to work with these, and there are actually different syntaxes for PHP too, maybe we'll research more about that, because maybe they do the same work, but there are different syntaxes for PHP. And this is one syntax that works well, and I have tested it. I will also show you the web page being run. Okay, the website being run on the server localhost. And let's carry on. Okay, so foreign key effects. What does I said before that suppose you are borrowing something, or sorry, you're not actually borrowing, you're issuing a book to a user. If that user is not in the database, then that insertion, maybe you submit it, but it will not work, right? And then there are actually in my design, I also wanted to actually add a line or add a statement that if the user is not there, then then it would show that the user is not there and the book has not been issued to the user. So there are much improvements that we could have done, but due to shortage of time, we couldn't do it. But maybe you guys can, and you can take this project up to next level, next extent, right? So you can take it much higher. But probably in your course in database, probably the teacher would ask you to just keep it simple. So you can use this too. Okay. The foreign key effects actually does that. It ensures that when you connect, suppose the ISBN here in book info and the borrowed is connected, right? So if the book is not in the book info, then it cannot be borrowed, and then the user ID is connected to the user ID in the user. So that if suppose AC203 was not there, then this update would not have been, this insertion would not have been possible. All right. Similarly in managed, the ISBN is connected to the book info ISBN, and the ID is connected to the librarian ID. So if there were no librarian named or ISBN, sorry, the ID number A123, then obviously that librarian cannot add the date or add the basic info in managed. And if the book was not present in the library, then that book cannot be added or managed, right? Okay. Possible improvements. There are a lot of improvements that could have been done. And starting maybe with the probably the else statement that I said that there was a problem there. Maybe that could have been solved. Then we could have added more links to the pages, because pages going to other files, right? And then we could have added login panel. So that the user can also use the page, right? We could have added a registration panel. We could have added librarian registration panel. All of this could have been done there. So then we could have designed it, right? All of this could have been done. But since we said we just wanted to keep it simple, we wanted to keep it simple and basic, because we ourselves couldn't. We didn't have the patience to take the hassle, to take the time to actually improve this project, or do it from like 2 months back or something like that, and then or 3 months back, and work on it so much that it is complete. But a project, I say, that is never complete, because there are always improvements on a project that you can do, even after maybe you think that no, you have done enough. Because I can say from my little experience here that when I started this project, I actually I thought, no, maybe, yeah, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that. So I did those, and then after I have done that, at one point I think that no, I have done enough. Then again I see my web page and I see that no, there are so many improvements that we could have done. And even after that, I think even if I had done those, maybe then there would be even more improvements to do, right? So there are never any end in improvements to any kind of project or any kind of matter, right? Or any kind of discovery, even in the science world, in the technological world. So there are always scopes for improvement, and this is how actually a project or a matter or a topic is passed on from generation to generation. Anyways, and this is what we did, and now I will explain. I will show the code first. So here you can see that there are a lot of files. I don't know how many files are there, but there are a lot of files, and okay. You can see that there are a lot of files here. You can see that the what? Okay, first of all, I will start from the folder where we started all of this. Is you go to local disk, you go to XAMPP, then there is a file named htdocs, right? In there, you have to make a folder for your files, and that folder here is the library management system. Here, I took a picture of a library and I put it from the net, and then I put the picture, saved it here, right? So in image form, and after that, all of those files can be edited in the Sublime text editor. There are more text editor, but I thought that I found that Sublime text editor is pretty easy. It's very simple, and here I kept the image, and all of these, right? This borrow option is for actually this borrow option. There are borrow options, there are delete borrow option, there are display books, then there are see books, see borrowed books. All of these are in the web pages. I will show there, but all of the codes are quite similar. That's why I explained only 6 or 7 codes, because all the other codes are quite similar to them, right? To be truthful, the insert like to insert the book information and to search a book information by the name, that has been taken from the net, and all the others are like the update, the delete, the show, all have been done by me, not just me, but my team partner Faria Afroz, and all of them have been update. All of them have been also being being embedded in the other sections. That would be managed section, that would be user section, that would be librarian section, that would be borrowed section. So the codes are quite similar, right? If you actually kind of ask me for this file, maybe I can give it to you if you're interested enough, right? This zip file, and then you can see how it all worked. But yeah, and through these names you can't actually understand which file is linked to what, but you can understand it quite well when you see this form action borrowed.php. So if you see the main file where we take the input, so you can see it there, right? Okay, I'll show you the web page now. Here is our web page, and these are the information. Suppose I can write anything here. Suppose ABC 306, then intertitle, what title? Harry Potter, and the Grim Lords, and the I forgot all the names of the books. I read pretty much all the books, kind of. Now, I read all the books of Percy Jackson. I saw all the movies of Harry Potter. Uh, what was the name? Huh? Okay, okay. Let's say Percy Jackson, the Last Olympian. Percy Jackson, the Last Olympian. Right. And then we have what was the name of the Percy Jackson? I don't remember. Just write JP Bowling Tradition. Let us will suppose submit. Let's see if the books have been updated. Here, the Percy Jackson, the Last Olympian. Let's write another Percy Jackson because I want to try a thing. ABC 1509. 509. Percy Jackson. J.K. Rowling. 2002. Bloomsbury. Submit. Okay. Let's see all the books. Here you can see that it has been updated. It has been inserted here. Let's search a book by the name Percy Jackson. Percy. Suppose I just write Percy. Yeah, see? Okay. So yeah, now we are ensured that actually the thing that I said here, where did it go? Search book. So here, yeah, the while loop actually works. The while loop actually works. So if there are more names than the same, suppose there were two Percy, so the two Percy related rows will show up. So here you can see, and then to go back, so you can go back to the search page either, or you can go back to search another name, or you can go back to the main page, all right? And then to search for the book, and you just put this links through that AHERF. So so it is very easy to link files. Okay, if I want to suppose delete a book, what I do, I put the ISBN number. So ISBN number, let's check what book info we have. Another thing I wanted to improve here was that I wanted to show all the books here. So I don't need to check the local host, right? But due to shortage of time, I didn't do it, and it seemed a bit hassling for me, and that is why it seemed a bit of a trouble to me actually. So it was not a trouble. I would say that I was kind of lazy, and at the same time I didn't have time. Yeah, so both of those factors worked. And due to this, I have I don't need to actually see always from the local host actually. Okay, so here I can see that ABC 126. I want to delete. No, I want to delete ABC 127. Okay, suppose ABC 127. ABC 127. I submit. Okay, book deleted in the library by the ISBN ABC 127, and then I check. Has it been deleted? Yes, there is no ABC 127. All right, so Love Life has been deleted. So I go to the main page. Now we can see the update option. So in the update option, suppose I want to update ABC 128. ABC 128. ABC 128. All right. Enter the new title. I'm gonna write hi, something like that. So yeah, ABC 128 has been updated. The name has been updated. Hi. Okay. And then hi. And then we can go So that we have seen the delete option, the update option. We go to the librarian page. Here I add a librarian. Suppose Nabil, Dhaka, suppose Dhanmondi, submit librarian. So I wanted to also add a link here, but we didn't do that. We didn't have time. Then to manage books, click here. To see all the books managed, click here. Okay, so okay, so I didn't add. We didn't actually add any. This was up to me, the librarian part. So I didn't actually add any link to show all librarians. But I think I did the code for it. I think I did the code for it. Okay, maybe I didn't, but it is kind of the same. Kind of the same. Kind of the same. Okay, let's see in the librarian section, has it been updated? Yeah, here see Nabil Dhaka Dhanmondi. Okay, it has been updated. To manage books, click here. I go to manage section. I write all of the what books do I have? Book info. I have. Let me first see. Okay, so I say ABC 1 to 6. I want to update that. ABC 1 to 6. Muskan. Enter author. What was the author name? J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling. Then the edition was 2004. Then we have Bloomsbury. Wait, not Bloomsbury. It was Little School. Littlesville. ID. Librarian ID. I need to check librarian ID. Suppose A123. All right, A123. This. So if I said anything like, if I suppose I wrote A127, which was not in the librarian ID, it would have not been updated. All right. Say, wait. 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 This. Let me check this manage option. Manage. Yeah, it is fine. ABC 127. Wait, let me check book info first. ABC 1 to 6. 1 to 6. Right. I write Muskan. I write the author name is J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling. I write the date 2004. 2000. Okay, then I write Littlesville. I write enter ID. What is my librarian ID? Let me check. The librarian ID is A123. A123, and then the date is probably the date added is this. Okay, managed, I think in managed section, managed, managed book, managed.php. Is sometimes due to the foreign key constraints, sometimes the problems arise, but that can be solved. I don't want to take much of your time. I'll just show you through this user ID. Suppose I want to issue a book to the user. I'll just write, suppose I want to issue ABC126, right? ABC126. And then enter ID, the user ID. I need to check what users are here. AC203. So AC203, and then I will probably submit it this day. See, the ABC126 Muskan has been updated. See, ABC126 AC203. So that is how it's done. And if you want to remove that, you go to the user page, you press delete, and then you just write ABC126. Submit to see the issued book. Let's come see here, and there is nothing. And if you want to check here too, line borrowed, sorry, borrowed. See, yeah. And I also want to show you the link and the site where we took the names from. Sorry, the codes from. See, this is just to enter the books section. This is one code. This is second code. This is third code. This is fourth, and this is the fifth code. So only these 5 codes I got, and there were no update codes here or delete codes, right? Or show all codes. So I had to do those. We had to do them. All of them. So here you can see that all of these, like only 5 codes had been given, and all of these other folders have been created by us. We tried to, and I'm not saying that it's really hard to create all of the other ones, but you have to be really careful, since you saw that the manage option was not working, probably because of some kind of problem in the foreign key constraints. I will solve that later. Probably I will solve that later if I get the time. And yeah, nothing else. So you have to be really careful with the syntax and the database, how you set up the database in the localhost server. So here you see I have set the localhost server here. See, okay. And then that's about it. Even in the user section, there is also a delete. Right. You can also delete here, and all of these other options also work fine. Suppose I want to delete ABC126. Oh, I showed you the delete option. Sorry, I showed you the delete option. So suppose I want to see the list of users. I go here. See, all of these users are here. All right. So that's all. That's pretty much it. So the reference was this. And yeah, so we tried to do a simple project, learn pretty much all the syntaxes related to our project, how they work, and we just had 5 codes, and then learned the syntaxes and tried to make all the other files, right? So through this project, we learned a lot about HTML and PHP from our view. Maybe we learned a little from your view, but from our view, we learned the basics. We learned the, I would say, not even the entire basics, because we didn't learn it from book or like from the starting, that how a PHP we didn't learn it from any kind of book or a PDF file, that what is PHP, the syntaxes of PHP, how they start, all of that. We just saw the codes, and then we the syntaxes that were used there, we didn't understand what they were, and then we searched for them in the net, and then we got to know that how they actually work. So through that, we kind of learned the basics. I would say. So thank you very much. Thank you a lot. Thanks a lot to the people who have who are seeing this video, or who have seen this video to the end till now, and with patience, I'm thanking you, and I hope this video turns out to be helpful for you. And if you do have some queries, do ask. I will try to I will, and Muskan will also try to actually answer your questions. So thank you very much. This video will be uploaded probably on my Facebook page, and check it out. I mean, you will not hear check it out now, but I will write it out in the caption probably, and I think you will find it helpful. And since this is my first video going up to the on some kind of educational matter, and this is going up to the social media, I don't know how will you see it, but do see it in a positive positive view, and do see it in a positive perspective, and try to help us if some kind of concept of ours is wrong. Probably you can tell us the right thing to do, or the right concept. So thank you very much. Thank you a lot, and we're grateful to you if you did listen to this video, or if you went through this video in the inter video. So peace and thank you all. This is actually a photo of ours when we started when we gave our first presentation in when we gave our first presentation in university life. This was in 2018. It was Father Shankur's class, Father Shankur's presentation. It was on probably English spoken, the first part where there was no grammar, and you just had to the English language part, right? So we gave the presentation that day, and yeah, that's about it. And this was actually my first presentation after a long time, because in actually Bangladesh, you don't give presentations in before university level, because there are no kind of systems like that. Maybe you make posters and stuff like that, right? But to the extent that I know, that you don't actually give presentations. I gave presentations in Germany, so I did have a bit of I did know a bit about presentation. So so it was a kind so to go back and give presentations again after a long time, it was very it made me feel comfortable. It made me feel like I'm going back to something that I did in the past, and it made me happy. So speaking to you guys, or giving presentations, it does make me happy. Maybe I don't do it that well, maybe I don't do it well at all, but it makes me kind of feel happy and proud inside that I'm speaking to you guys, right? At one time I couldn't even when I started giving speeches or presenting, I didn't know how to do it. At one time I just read out from the slides or just memorize or something like that. I didn't even memorize. I read out from the slides, and that was just horrible. And then after that, maybe it was not horrible, but I wanted to, like, it didn't seem that good in front of the viewers, because you have to look at their eyes and then speak to them, right? And that is how you make eye contact, and that is how you make your speech, or make what you say understand to them. So that is that felt kind of bad to me. And then slowly I got the hang of it. When I was in Germany, I didn't get the hang of giving presentations, so I got very bad marks. But when and remarks, not just marks, and remarks. And then coming to Bangladesh again, and starting out after a long time, my English was a bit better for me. Actually, for me, it was a bit better, and then slowly I got the hang of it. And I don't know if I do give good presentations or not. Maybe I don't do at all, but I try to, and it makes me feel good. So I've said a lot. Maybe you thought that I was bragging or something, but I was not. I was just trying to explain that I feel good. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you very much. And do pray for us. This is a very hard time that is going on. And we all know this. This is not something that is not known, but just to give an ending remarks, but truly do pray for us. Do pray for all of us, that we stay good and this pandemic goes to an end, because I am missing university like hell. Like, I haven't gone to the university for 8 months. 8 months. All of us have not gone to the university, or started classes for 8 months. I did go for a few times, but that going to the university didn't feel going at all, because there were no people at all, and it seemed like an empty place. And a university is a university. A place is a place where your known people, or where your mates are, right? So, or where your known people are. And even the unknown, because you see some faces and they are known, right? Even if you don't know the names. But that felt good, and that feeling I have not gotten for around, what, I think it's about 9 months now. So 9 months. So that's a long time, and let's pray for each of us that we stay well, and the pandemic ends. Okay, that's all. Thank you.